Imagine trying to access a highly classified cloud computing network.
Right.
One that's powered by some seriously advanced artificial intelligence. But, you're not sitting in a comfortable climate-controlled office.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, you are sitting in a tactical vehicle in the middle of a war zone, and every single radio and internet signal around you is being actively jammed by an adversary.
You're completely in the dark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Completely in the dark. But to make that connection happen anyway, the Department of Defense has drafted this blueprint that is quietly forcing the commercial tech industry to totally rewrite the fundamental rules of computing.
It really is.
So today, we're going on a deep dive. We're unpacking a massive, really dense DoD document dated May 19th, 2026. It's the Draft Performance Work Statement for JWCC next.
Right, the Joint Warfighting Cloud Capability next.
Yeah, which is actually transitioning to be known as the Unified Cloud Marketplace, or UCM.
And I just have to say, it is a phenomenal blueprint. I mean, when most of us think of cloud computing, we picture these, massive server farms.
Right, the giant warehouses.
Exactly. Giant warehouses with uninterrupted fiber optic connections.
Yeah.
We just take constant connectivity totally for granted.
Yeah, we really do.
But this document, it just strips all of those assumptions away.
Mm-hmm.
It outlines this global multi-vendor infrastructure that literally has to operate at every single classification level.
Wow.
Yeah. From basic unclassified data all the way up to top secret and sensitive compartmented information, or TSSCI.
And, if you're listening right now and thinking, I'm not a military procurement officer, so why do I care about a government draft?
Fair question.
Right, but this is basically your crystal ball. If you want to know what your smartphone or your company's network or even your autonomous car is going to be doing in 10 years.
You look at this document.
Yes, exactly. You look at the extreme demands the military is placing on commercial tech companies today.
Yeah, and to really grasp the scale here, you have to look at the physical infrastructure requirements first.
Okay, let's hear it.
At the macro level, the document mandates that contractors provide physical data centers separated by at least 400 miles radially.
400 miles.
Minimum. And they must be on completely separate power grids. I mean, the logic is pretty simple. A catastrophic event, whether it's, a Category 5 hurricane or an actual coordinated kinetic attack.
Like a missile strike.
Exactly. It cannot take down the network. So if a data center on the East Coast gets wiped out, the system has to shift the load so seamlessly that a user halfway across the world doesn't even experience a lag spike.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit.
Yeah.
Because you have these massive fortress-like data centers spaced hundreds of miles apart.
Right.
But a warfighter can't exactly drag a fiber optic cable into a jungle.
No, they cannot.
The military operates in what they call DDIL environments, denied, degraded, intermittent, or limited bandwidth. So how do they bridge the gap between this massive data center in Virginia and a squad that's operating out in a contested desert?
Well, they push the cloud to what the document calls the tactical edge.
The tactical edge.
Right. The DoD is requiring these edge devices that bring actual cloud-level compute power directly to the battlefield. And we aren't just talking about laptops here.
What are we talking about then?
We are talking about rapidly deployable modular data centers powered by the government on remote airfields, servers that are literally bolted into the chassis of Humvees.
Wow.
And even man-portable form factors, like literally a piece of the top-secret cloud that a soldier just carries in a backpack.
Okay, but that introduces a massive physics problem.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you take the processing power of a cloud server and stuff it into a backpack, it is going to generate an immense amount of heat and noise.
So much heat.
I mean, I'm imagining a high-end gaming PC, right? The fans are absolutely screaming, it's pumping out hot air.
Exactly.
But a soldier hiding in a hostile environment can't sound like a leaf blower. I mean, a massive heat signature gets you hit by a thermal-seeking missile, and acoustic noise just gives your position away to a patrol.
And what's fascinating here is the sheer engineering contradiction the DoD is demanding. The document specifically mandates that these edge devices have to manage their own thermal and acoustic emanations to avoid detection.
Yeah.
But they still have to pass MIL STD 810H certifications, which means surviving extreme drops, dust, water, all of that. So you just cannot use massive cooling fans.
So they have to be relying on, like, advanced passive cooling.
They have to.
They must be using sealed vapor chambers or liquid cooling loops combined with materials like graphene heat spreaders, to dissipate that thermal load across the device's chassis without a single moving part.
Right.
It's like you are basically taking a ruggedized lunchbox, filling it with supercomputer components, and dropping it out of a plane without letting it make a single sound.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have to dynamically underclock the processors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the hardware basically has to sense its environment and throttle its own power draw so it doesn't just melt its own Kevlar equivalent casing. It's this incredibly delicate balance of thermodynamics and high-performance computing.
But, deploying a silent, ruggedized server into a jungle introduces this really terrifying vulnerability.
The connection.
Yeah, the moment an adversary turns on a jammer and that backpack loses its internet connection, it just becomes a very expensive, very heavy brick. I mean, a server isn't really a cloud if it can't talk to anything.
True.
So how does this equipment actually function when it's completely cut off from the main grid?
Well, this is where the document pushes way beyond hardware and into some groundbreaking software demands.
Okay, like what?
The contract explicitly requires that these edge devices have to run advanced data analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning services locally.
Wait, locally?
Yes, completely in the dark. The devices must continue to label data, analyze telemetry, and even train new AI models when the network is fully jammed.
Okay, I have to challenge the logic of this, though.
Go for it.
Because running or training an AI model takes massive, massive electrical and processing power. I mean, we've all seen the news about commercial AI data centers requiring their own dedicated power plants.
Oh, yeah, the energy draw is insane.
Right. So how does a single battery-powered backpack have the juice to run localized AI effectively without instantly draining its battery?
It requires a massive leap in edge computing efficiency. You aren't running a massive generalized model like the ones that write poetry or pass the bar exam.
Right.
The DoD is demanding specialized system on a chip or SAS architectures and neural processing units.
NPUs.
Exactly. NPUs are designed to run specific AI tensor operations on mere milliwatts of power.
Right.
They trade that broad general knowledge for hyper-efficient, highly targeted processing.
I see.
And they need this because of a very specific capability outlined in the document, which is called agentic AI.
Agentic AI, meaning the AI doesn't just sit there waiting for a human to type a prompt. It actually acts as an independent agent.
Exactly. When human command and control is severed by jamming, agentic AI is designed to make autonomous, context-adaptive decisions.
Give me an example of how that would look.
So imagine a swarm of surveillance drones that suddenly loses contact with headquarters. Okay.
The local AI inside the vehicle-mounted edge device needs to ingest the incoming sensor data, recognize a new enemy anti-aircraft pattern, train a mitigation model, and instantly push that update to the drone swarm so they don't get shot down.
Wow.
And it has to do all of this in real time, completely off the grid.
Man, it's making battlefield calculations at the speed of silicon.
Yes.
But eventually the jamming stops, right? And the connection to the larger cloud is restored.
Yeah.
I'd imagine if 1,000 disconnected edge devices suddenly reconnect and try to dump terabytes of raw video and new AI models back to headquarters at the exact same moment.
It would crash everything.
Yeah, it would completely crash whatever fragile satellite link they just managed to establish.
And the DoD actually anticipated that bottleneck. The document dictates that the system must allow users to control the priority order of how data syncs upon reconnection.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it actively throttles the bandwidth, ensuring that only the most critical telemetry like, say, the coordinates of an enemy missile battery, is siphoned back to command first. So routine logs or massive video files just wait.
Right. They wait until a wider bandwidth connection is available.
Yeah.
It is this highly choreographed dance between the offline and online worlds.
But, if we are sending these independent AI-driven brains out into hostile territory, we are kind of handing our adversaries an unprecedented opportunity.
How do you mean?
Well, if an enemy patrol captures one of those top-secret backpacks, do they just suddenly possess a physical backdoor into the entire Department of Defense cloud?
Ah, I see.
Like, how do you secure a global network when the physical nodes are quite literally in the hands of the enemy?
Well, you build the entire system on task 3 of this document, which is fortified security. And the cornerstone of task 3 is zero trust architecture.
Zero trust. Which means basically never trusting any user, device, or network by default, even if that device is physically plugged into a secure terminal.
Yes. To really understand zero trust, we have to discard the old cybersecurity metaphor.
Castle on the moat.
Exactly. Historically, security was like a castle with a moat.
Mm-hmm.
If a hacker got past the moat and the outer wall, they basically had the run of the castle.
Right.
Zero Trust replaces that with something closer to a high-security casino.
A casino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting in the front door means nothing. The dealer checks your ID before every single hand you play. The cameras track your biometrics at every table, and the chips themselves have RFID trackers.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Oh.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. So if a backpack is captured and someone manages to turn it on, the system doesn't just say, oh, you're an authorized military backpack, come on in.
No.
It demands constant cryptographic proof of identity for every single microtransaction, every packet of data requested.
Precisely. And to ensure that high-security casino doesn't have any hidden flaws, the DoD subjects it to brutal stress testing.
Like red teaming.
Exactly. The contract states the DoD reserves the right to use NSA-certified red teams to mimic nation-state cyber attacks on this cloud infrastructure. Yeah, they are actively inviting the world's most sophisticated digital lockpickers to try and break the system from insider, nearsighter, and outsider postures.
See, they aren't just defending against software attacks, though. They have to defend against the physical components themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the document emphasizes extreme supply chain risk management, or SCRM. Contractors have to literally trace the provenance of every single microchip and line of code.
Yeah, they have to disclose all third-party vendors and even foreign national developers.
Because if a foreign intelligence service slips a microscopic hardware Trojan into a memory controller before the server is even built,
then no amount of software security will save you.
Exactly.
They are essentially assuming that the supply chain is already compromised, and they are demanding cryptographic verification to counter it, which, by the way, is also where the document mandates preparations for post-quantum cryptography.
Post-quantum cryptography. That's a term that just sounds like pure science fiction.
I know, but it is arguably the most critical security mandate in the entire text. Nation-states are currently engaging in these harvest, now decrypt later campaigns.
Meaning they're stealing encrypted data today.
Right. They are stealing massive troves of encrypted top-secret data that they cannot currently read, but they are banking on the fact that in 5 or 10 years, quantum computers will be powerful enough to shatter modern encryption instantly.
Oh, wow.
So the DoD is requiring this cloud to implement cryptographic algorithms that are mathematically resistant to quantum decryption. They are protecting today's secrets from tomorrow's computers.
That's intense. And, if an NSA red team, or a real adversary for that matter, does find a vulnerability, the required response time in this draft is just staggering.
Yeah, it's fast.
The contract demands that any critical security vulnerability must be addressed within 8 hours of government notification. If I'm thinking about the logistics of this, 8 hours to manually patch a multi-layered, highly classified cloud infrastructure that spans the entire globe, that's physically impossible for a team of human engineers.
Which means the entire infrastructure has to be defined by code. You can't have engineers frantically typing commands into individual servers.
Right.
It requires extreme automation through containerization and CI/CD pipelines. That's continuous integration and continuous deployment.
Okay.
A patch basically has to be written, automatically tested against the entire simulated network, and then pushed globally in a matter of minutes, not days.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the DoD is accepting a really hard truth here. Breaches are inevitable.
Yep.
They are moving away from perimeter defense and shifting to data-centric survival. So if an adversary compromises a backpack in the jungle, the zero-trust architecture and the automated patching ensure that the breach is completely isolated to that specific device.
Exactly.
They cannot use that backpack to laterally pivot into like a data center in Ohio.
Exactly. The architecture is designed to fail safely. But all of this hyper-advanced, quantum-resistant, AI-driven technology brings us to a really massive, grounded reality check in segment 4 of the document.
Ah, yes. The bureaucracy.
Right. At the end of the day, this is a government contract. Every time a warfighter runs an AI model, a meter is running.
Because cloud computing is fundamentally a rental model.
Exactly.
You're paying for infrastructure as a service and software as a service, which means someone, somewhere, has to pay the bill and navigate the bureaucracy of the battlefield.
Welcome to Task 6, Centralized Management and Distributed Control. Specifically, we are looking at financial operations, or FinOps.
FinOps.
The DoD is legally bound by the Anti-Deficiency Act, which is a federal law making it an actual crime for the government to spend money it has not been appropriated.
So they can't just put the war on a credit card and figure it out later.
No, they cannot.
The tracking requirements in this document are wild, honestly. It mandates comprehensive financial reporting that tracks costs down to the, and this is a quote, smallest billable units.
Yeah, fractions of a penny.
We're talking about tracking fractions of a penny for split seconds of CPU usage. And they need near real-time updates. Like within 30 minutes of any transaction, the system has to update the central ledger and project exactly when the funds will run out.
And to prevent an accidental violation of that Anti-Deficiency Act, the system includes an optional user-controlled suspension mode.
Like a suspension mode.
Yeah, if a unit hits a specific spend threshold, the system automatically suspends the deployment of additional cloud services.
Okay, so what does this all mean in practice? Because I have to call out a glaring paradox here.
Yeah.
We just spent 20 minutes talking about how these edge devices are designed to operate in completely denied environments.
Right.
If a squad is jammed by the enemy for 3 days, how on earth is their backpack sending a 30-minute financial update back to the Pentagon? And more importantly, if they are pinned down and they desperately need to spin up an AI model to analyze a threat, are you telling me they could get an insufficient funds pop-up?
It sounds absurd, right?
It does.
Right.
Does this blueprint actually allow a firefight to be paused for a budget review?
Well, you've hit on one of the greatest engineering frictions in the entire document, melding combat lethality with rigid accounting law.
Right.
To solve the 70-minute paradox, the edge devices utilize what cloud architects call eventual consistency.
Eventual consistency. Okay.
The backpack basically maintains a localized, cryptographically secure financial ledger. It tracks its own microscopic CPU burns locally. The 30-minute rule applies when the network is available.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Once that jamming lifts, the local ledger immediately syncs with the central financial database.
Okay, so the backpack is basically running a tab while it's offline.
Exactly.
But what about getting cut off during a mission? Because the budget literally ran out.
Well, the document is very careful to build in operational safeguards for that. First, it explicitly mandates that in no case shall the contractor ever delete any stored information due to a budget suspension.
Well, that's reassuring.
Yeah. The cloud vendor cannot just repossess your top secret data in the middle of a conflict.
Sorry, your bill bounced.
Right, exactly. And regarding the insufficient funds scenario, the suspension mode utilizes policy-based access control, or PBAC.
PBAC?
The military isn't forced to use a hard stop. Commanders can configure layered thresholds. So for a mission-critical edge device, hitting 90% of a budget wouldn't brick the device.
What would it do?
It would trigger an automated escalating warning to a headquarters financial officer. The PBAC allows humans to manually override the limits, ensuring that troops are never left stranded in the field just because of an accounting error.
That makes sense. But it is just surreal to imagine a cloud meter ticking up dollars and cents while a literal tactical mission is unfolding.
It really is.
But considering how resource-intensive AI is, you do have to manage the elasticity of the cloud. I mean, a runaway machine learning process could accidentally bankrupt an entire division if it isn't strictly monitored.
And this raises an important question, you know? How do you train personnel to simultaneously manage lethal combat operations and complex financial resource allocation?
Yeah.
It demands an entirely new breed of digital warfighter.
It is staggering to piece all of this together. I mean, we are looking at a system that requires physical data centers separated by 400 miles on isolated grids.
Right.
We are shrinking that immense power into silent, ruggedized backpacks that cool themselves without any fans.
Yep.
We're running agentic AI that makes autonomous real-time decisions while completely disconnected from the internet. We're wrapping all of this in a quantum-resistant zero-trust casino where NSA red teams constantly try to pick the locks.
That's a lot.
And on top of all that, we're tracking every single microscopic CPU calculation to the penny to keep the Pentagon out of financial jail.
The engineering required to achieve any one of those tasks is monumental. Combining them into a single, seamless global marketplace is just a masterclass in technological ambition.
Total.
And this brings us back to why this matters to you, the listener. The DoD is essentially subsidizing the research and development for the future of civilian technology.
It's the space race effect.
Yeah.
I mean, the Apollo missions gave us GPS and advanced microchips. JWCC Next is going to give us the next generation of cloud computing.
Exactly. The commercial tech industry has to invent solutions to satisfy this contract. Figuring out how to run an AI model locally on a battery-powered device without an internet connection, that innovation will eventually become the standard in your smartphone.
Oh, 100%.
The automated 8-hour global patching pipelines and zero-trust architectures will secure your banking apps and your enterprise networks. The extreme demands of the military today are quite literally forging the baseline security features you will rely on tomorrow.
Which is an incredible thought to end on, but I want to leave you with one final, slightly more provocative implication that builds on everything we've just discussed today.
Oh, all right.
We talked extensively about deploying these edge devices into disconnected, highly contested war zones. We talked about running autonomous agentic AI that learns, adapts, and pushes out mitigation strategies at the speed of relevance, all without a human operator in the loop because the network is jammed.
Yes.
Well, the United States isn't the only nation pushing towards this technological frontier.
That's true.
If multiple global powers are developing these autonomous edge nodes, what happens when two of these disconnected opposing agentic AI systems encounter each other in the dark? When the radios are jammed, the human commanders are completely cut off, and the localized models begin analyzing and counteracting each other in fractions of a second. Who or what actually decides the outcome of a digital war fought entirely off the grid?